Nancy Altman has a 35-year background in the areas of Social Security and private pensions. She is co-director of the Social Security Works and co-chair of the Strengthened Social Security Coalition and Campaign. She is the author of The Battle for Social Security, From FDR's Vision to Bush's Gamble. Ms. Altman is the chairman of the board of directors of the Pension Rights Center, a nonprofit organization dedicated to the protection of beneficiary rights. She's also on the board of directors of the National Academy of Social Insurance, a membership organization of over 800 of the nation's leading experts on social insurance. Salman, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Chairman Cummings. I'd like to start by acknowledging and thanking Senator Sanders and a number of the members of this committee. Their visionary leadership in the movement to expand Social Security has made it today a united position of the Democratic Party. Whether to expand or cut Social Security is a question of values. And as Chairman Cummings said at the start of the session, it's a question where the parties starkly disagree. Social Security embodies the best of this party's values, the nation's values, and indeed religious values. In addition, Social Security demonstrates powerfully the value of government. It protects working families with life insurance, disability insurance, and retirement annuities more efficiently, securely, and more universally than its private sector counterparts. Expanding Social Security is a solution. It's a solution to our nation's retirement income crisis, to income and wealth inequality, to the financial squeeze on working families. In short, expanding Social Security is profoundly wise policy. It's also the will of the people. As polarized as Americans are over many issues, we are overwhelmingly united in our deep support for Social Security. 1 in 4 households receive Social Security. It is, of course, vital to seniors and people with disabilities. It is equally vital to our nation's veterans, children, women, people of color, the LGBT community. Indeed, it's impossible to find a demographic for whom it's not important. In short, expansion of Social Security is wise policy and winning politics. As the wealthiest nation in the world, at the wealthiest moment in our history, we can easily afford to expand Social Security if we simply require the wealthiest among us to pay their fair share. For all these reasons, I urge this committee to include a plank that clearly and forcefully calls for the expansion of Social Security across the board. At the end of my written statement, which I think you all have, I suggest some platform language for you to consider. Historically, Social Security has helped Democrats win a lot of elections. It can this year as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Congressman Gutierrez.
Okay, here you go. Thank you very much. So when I got to, before I got to Congress, it didn't really matter how much was taken out for Social Security because I never made more than $60,000. So when I got here, I did. I got a big increase in salary. So when I, so it made a difference. So when I got here, it was like around $65,000 in 1992, and then they stopped taxing me. And today it's at 125.
118.5, yes.
100, no, please help us. That's why we want experts. So at 128 today, should we raise it more? Should it be unlimited? And give us the rationale for raising it more if you believe that and making that.
Excellent question. 94, most people don't even realize there is a cap because 94%, it's at, for 2016, it's at $118,500. 94% of the American people make under that amount. So they have withholding from their salaries, as you say, all year long. For others, if you make over that amount, you only contribute to Social Security on that first $118,500. So you may stop having deductions taken in April, June. We joke that Bill Gates probably doesn't even get to lunch before his Social Security contribution is paid. So it makes sense definitely so it's a regressive structure, and it makes sense to eliminate it. But that, you should understand, only makes it proportional. There's only 3% of Social Security's income that's progressive. And there are ways, and I think there should be, in addition to that, some progressive, more progressive revenue. So for example, as just a model, Senator Sanders, and I think Secretary Clinton is also, Senator Sanders has a bill, but I think Secretary Clinton has said that she would consider the idea. He imposes it, again, at $250,000, but on unearned income as well as earned income. There are others. You could have the late Robert Ball, who was the longest-serving commissioner, talked about he proposed dedicating the estate tax to Social Security. We could have a new wealth tax that went to Social Security. So as I say, but that's the means to the end. The end is basic economic security, and for that, we need to expand the benefits. And then the question is the fairest way to pay for them, and there are a number of ways to do that.
Thank you. It was when I got here in '93, it was the big debate, one of the biggest things that I had to first deal with, so I supported raising it. And I think we've done well by raising it, and I think it's time to look at it another time, because we really looked at it more fully in '93. We haven't really examined it. We kind of did a good thing in '93, and so thank you.
Ms. Sandin?
Hi, Nancy.
Hi.
Good to see you. I want to applaud all the work you've done for so many years on Social Security, and I think we take a tremendous amount of pride in the Social Security program as a bedrock. But I also think it's important that we recognize some of the inequities that exist in Social Security today. And so I'd love for you to talk a little bit about some of the real, in my view, challenges we see with the way women are treated in the Social Security program because of their work histories. They've really faced an inequity in Social Security benefits. We think of the Social Security program as a vital program for all Americans, but it has not served well, particularly low-income Americans. So I'd love to get your just thoughts on those issues, recognizing that there's an imperative to strengthen Social Security. I'd love for you to just let us know your thoughts on those particular inequities women have faced.
I think I would challenge the premise a little bit, but also respond to the question, and that is that Social Security, I think, is, it's neutral towards gender, and it's well-constructed, but it can be improved. So I wouldn't say
That's totally fair. And it recognizes a different structure where more women are working today than in the 1930s.
So, for example, there is a number of the women's groups are interested in a caregiving credit. As that, I'd also take issue with your point about low income, because actually, Chairman Cummings' wife is a real expert on Social Security, and she's done an enormous amount of work on educating all of us that people of color and low income use the program differently. They tend to draw more from disability and survival. But there are a number of targeted improvements in addition to across-the-board increases. So for low income, raise the minimum benefit. Caregiving credit is one that can be, I think we should also consider additional expanded new kinds of benefits. So there's long-term disability, but there's not now short-term disability in the form of sick pay or parental leave, which often is women who have that because they take time out of the workforce. And those are benefits I think we should consider adding. So there are a number of improvements, but...
Agreed. Agreed.
Mr. Gunnels?
Thank you very much for your testimony, Nancy. It's a real pleasure. I think it's really important for us to understand how far we've come in the Social Security movement. Just a few years ago, not too long ago, we were told that the debate on Social Security was not whether we were going to cut Social Security, but by how much we were going to cut it. We were told that cost of living adjustments for senior citizens, disabled veterans, and others were too generous, and we needed to cut them. And I think many of us in this room really stood up and fought back against that drive to cut Social Security. And today, of course, with the President's recent statement, I think we're all unified as Democrats, and the issue is not whether we're going to expand Social Security, but how much we're going to expand Social Security. And I think that's a very important debate to have. I was wondering if you could just take us through kind of the history of what's been going on the past few years on Social Security, and how important it would be to put it in the Democratic platform, an expansion of Social Security for the Democratic Party.
I think that's a really good point. I think the Republicans and their allies really convinced the American people, and in fact, unfortunately, the elites even more, that Social Security was unaffordable and had to be cut. And as a consequence, the last number of elections, both the Democrats and the Republicans said we have to save Social Security, and we'll do it with a bipartisan solution. Now, when both candidates are saying that, the obvious thing a voter thinks is, okay, let's move on to another issue, because there's no difference in their position. It's critical, and that's what, with your boss as a leader, along with, I don't want, there are too many of you on this committee, I don't want to start naming names, but you all know who you are. We're able to really educate, including the president, who last week, I wrote a blog post in the Huffington Post saying that it was an historic, it was his legacy. If he continues talking about expand Social Security, it will pave the path. And as Leader Pelosi said, it will help elect people who will then vote the right way. But now, so there's been this history, but now there's really an opportunity, and your boss has really led in the fight, and that is there will be a clear question for the American people if the members of this committee write a strong and forceful plank, and candidates then run on it. So the American people finally see who stands with them, who wants to expand this vital program, and who wants it all to go to Wall Street or just wants to slash it because they don't believe in government. And then there's a choice, and I think this is an opportunity to win back seniors. As I went through it, there are a litany of issues. Let me say just one more thing, and that is that the Pew Foundation had a very interesting survey that came out just about a month ago, where they polled the supporters of the various candidates. This is when Senator Cruz and Governor Kasich and Donald Trump were all still in the race. And they asked them where their supporters stood on a variety of issues. Now, Kasich and Cruz were for strong cuts in Social Security. 62% and 66% of their voters, people who were voting for them, said they did not want to see Social Security cut. 73% of Donald Trump supporters said that. So it's really, your boss has really helped to clarify the issues so the American people will know who to vote for.
Thank you very much. It's very helpful. Thank you.